Hello everyone, it's Myung-Krujan. Today I am going to read S4 4018 Sarcasm by Jean Marzolo. The plane from Mexico was landing. Sam stood at the airport window and watched. He was going to meet his cousin Marco for the first time. Soon a boy Sam's size came through the door. Sam's mother hugged him. "Marco, this is Sam," she said slowly. "Sam, this is Marco." "Hi," said Sam. Suddenly he felt shy. "Hola," said Marco softly. In the car, Marco was very quiet. So was Sam. "We are happy you have come to live with us for a year," said Sam's mother. "See," said Marco. But he didn't look happy. He just looked out the window. "You like sports?" asked Sam. Sam loved sports. He was very good at them too. Marco shrugged. "He doesn't speak much English," said Sam's mother. When they got home, she said, "Take Marco out to play, Sam. Introduce him to your friends." "What if he doesn't understand what we say?" asked Sam. "Speak slowly," said his mom. "He will learn." Sam and Marco went outside. At the end of the street, kids were shooting baskets. Sam's friend, Rosie, tossed him the ball. Sam aimed and fired. The ball sailed through the rim. "This is my cousin Marco," Sam said. He tried to talk slowly, but it was hard. "Marco, this is Billy, Chris, Rosie, Tommy, and Freddie." Billy shot Marco the ball. Marco caught it on his head and bounced it up and down like a seal. Everyone started to laugh at him. Sam's face got hot. He grabbed the ball and made another basket. Chris caught the ball under the net. He threw it to Marco. This time Marco caught the ball on his knee and bounced it up and down. Again, everyone laughed at him. Sam felt awful. "Let's go home," he told Marco. The next day, Sam and Marco went to school together. At recess, they played kickball. When the ball came to Marco, he stopped it with his feet. "Don't you ever use your arms?" asked Freddie, but Marco didn't understand. Next time the ball came to him, he stopped it with his feet again. Back home, Sam tried to explain the rules of sports to Marco. "Hold the ball in your hand," said Sam. "When you play basketball, bounce the ball as you run. It is called dribbling." But Marco just looked at Sam. He didn't understand English. He couldn't even say Sam's name right. He said Sammy. The next day after school, Sam didn't want to go outside. He didn't want to play ball. He was afraid his friends would make fun of Marco. "Why don't you draw?" Sam's mother asked. So Sam got out his crayon. He drew a picture of a basketball player. Marco drew a picture of his mother and father. Sam's mother looked at the pictures. "You know what I think?" she said. I think Marco is homesick. Let's take him to the mall to cheer him up." At the mall, Sam's mother bought Marco a giant shirt. But it didn't make Marco happy. He didn't know who the giants were. "Let's try some video games," said Sam. "Watch, I'll show you how to play." Sam played Pac-Man and got a very high score. "Now you go," he said to Marco. "Don't worry if you don't get a good score at first." Marco played Pac-Man and got a better score than Sam. He laughed. In Mexico is Pac-Man also, he said. Marco beat Sam at every game in the arcade. They walked farther down the mall, looking at stores. When they came to the sports store, Sam stopped to look at footballs. But Marco wasn't interested in footballs. He ran over to a display of black and white balls in boxes. Suddenly he was grinning from ear to ear. Why didn't I think of this before? Said Sam's mom. Most kids in Mexico play soccer. Soccer? Nobody plays that around here, said Sam. Well, maybe they will now, said his mother with a smile. Back home, Marco took his new ball outside. He bounced it on his head. He kicked it around with his feet. Chris and Billy came over. Marco kicked the ball to Chris. Chris caught it with his hand. No hands, said Marco. He kicked the ball to Billy. Billy caught it with hands too. No hands. Head. He bounced the ball on his head. Then Marco kicked the ball to Sam. Sam let the ball fall on his head. Bueno, cried Marco. Bueno, Sammy. Sam laughed. He kicked the ball back to Marco, who kicked it to Billy. Billy bounced it back to Sam with his head. Bueno, Billy, said Marco then. He kicked the ball to Chris. Chris caught it on his head and bounced it to Billy. Billy caught it on his head and bounced it to Sam. This is awesome, said Sam. Let's bring the ball to school tomorrow, said Chris. We showed the other kids how to play, said Billy. Bueno, said Marco. Good. The next day at recess, Marco showed the other second graders how to play soccer. They stood in a circle and passed the ball around with their heads. When Sam caught the ball with his hands, no hands, yelled Marco. The next time someone caught the ball with his hands, everyone yelled. No hands, it was fun. Then Marco told them to pass the ball with their feet on. Once Chris picked up the ball with his hands, no hands, everyone shouted. Third graders came by and laughed. No hands, they said. What a weird game. Some of the second graders felt stupid. They didn't like to be teased by third graders. Forget it, said Sam. I've got a plan. Let's practice all week. Then we'll challenge the third graders to a game. They beat us in football, they beat us in basketball, and they beat us in baseball. But they won't beat us in soccer, will they? The second graders liked the plan. They practiced all weeks and practiced most of all. On Friday morning, Sam went up to the third graders in the playground. If you think you're so hot, play soccer with us at lunch. Then we'll see who is really hot. Third graders took the challenge. Then everyone went back to class. It was hard to study. Billy said 5 plus 4 was 8. Chris dropped his notebook on the floor and all his papers fell out. Marco was so excited, he forgot the capital of the United States. He said it was Dallas, Texas. Sam was just so excited he could hardly write his spelling words. Finally, it was lunchtime. Everyone ate quickly and rushed outside. The second and third graders met on the field. Sam marked the goals with jacket. Billy went over the rules. Only the goalie can catch the ball, he said. To score, you have to kick the ball past the goalie and into the place marked by jacket. Game began. Marco passed the ball to Chris. Chris started to dribble the ball up to the field. One of the third graders ran in front of him. Chris passed the ball to Sam. Sam kicked the ball hard but missed. The ball sat on the field. The third grader ran up and kicked it way down the field. What a kick. Third graders were really big and strong. Another third grader kicked the ball into the second grader's goal. The score was 1-0. Third graders were ahead. Sam looked worried. No problema, said Marco. He dribbled the ball to the opposite goal of goalie. goal all by himself. Third graders tried to get the ball away from Marco, but he zigzagged around them. Two of the third graders fell down, trying to catch Marco. Go, Marco, baby, yelled Billy. Marco kicked the ball at the third grader's goal. It went in. Now the score was 1-1 tie. Hooray! Shouted Sam. Third graders had the ball now. One of them kicked it halfway down the field. Another one dribbled it toward the second grader's goal. He took aim and fired. Tommy, who was goalie for the second graders, caught the ball. Hooray! Shouted Sam again. He knew it was all right for Tommy to catch the ball. In soccer, goalies are the only players who can do that. Tommy threw the ball to Sam. Sam passed it to Marco. Marco ran it down to the other end and passed it back to Sam. Sam gave it a good hard kick. The ball sailed over the goalie's head. Now the score was 2-1. Third graders, when used to losing, they began to make mistakes. They caught the ball with their hand. Every time they did, second graders shouted, "No hand." Second graders started scoring like crazy. Bam! Chris got a goal. Slam! He got another one. Wham! 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 Billy got one goal. Roger got two. But Sam and Marco were the team start. They ran circles around the third grader. They scored 6 goals each. When lunchtime was over, the score was 19-11. "A wipeout," said Sam. Third graders were good losers. They all shook hands with the second graders. Then they asked Marco if he would teach them how to play better. "See," said Marco, "Soccer Sammy teach you too." Everybody laughed. "Soccer Sammy," they shouted, "Soccer Sammy." That's how Sam got his nickname. First, he wasn't sure if he liked it or not. "Is bueno?" asked Marco. "You like your name?" Sam looked at his cousin. He knew that anything Marco gave him, he would like. "See," says Sam, "I like gracias." The end.